Hi guys and welcome. Today's video was a viewer request. She was having trouble with a waterfall and the idea of colouring the waterfall, specifically I think in this book, if I remember right. Now I take ages to get around to everything, so she's probably already coloured her waterfall, so I apologise for that, but belatedly, here's your waterfall. So I am colouring in the Circle of Life colouring book by Melpomene Panigotu, if that's correct, and I'm using some brutfuner square pencils here. I have 4 blues in 055, 088, 040 and 038. As always guys, it doesn't matter what page you're doing, it doesn't matter what pencils you're using, just that you enjoy it and that hopefully you learn a bit of a technique from the video. So you want quite a dark navy blue, more of a true deepish blue, a pale blue, and then I've gone for kind of this is probably more turquoise than teal, so it's a little bit more blue than it is green, but it's got that little mix, so it's a bit of an aqua colour, and that's all you really need. It doesn't matter what pencils you're using. So I'm going to do this little waterfall here. I'm only a hobbyist, so obviously I'm not a trained artist. I don't go light to dark. I start with my darker colours and my shadows, especially with these kind of pencils. So with my 055, my darker blue, I'm just going to pop this base river down back here, just some depth underneath those flowers there. I'm then also going to pop it essentially just where the falls go over, but not the corner itself. As always, more pressure towards the edges and the corners, and then as it's going to meet that next colour, I'm just feathering that out into nothing, so I'm going to be able to lay my next colour over the top without any harsh lines. And that's the beginning of my falls. So then the slightly lighter blue, the 088, I'm going to go over that, bring that out a little bit. I still want to preserve the edge of the falls, but I do need to come in underneath this flower a little bit. Bit of a harsher line there because it's a shadow, I don't need it to blend in. I'm going to bring that down the sides of the falls. Stopping just before the edge. And just bring that down a little bit from this deeper blue. You can add some black if you want to deepen your shadows, and indeed we'll see how we go. It's always there if we need it. So I'm then going to take my more kind of turquoise colour, this 040, and again I'm going to pop that over the top of everything else, and I'm going to bring that down a little bit into that, what we're going to have as our whiter area, and just darken up the middle of that fall. Not a lot of pressure, I'm just laying layers. They're oil based, so you just keep running it over itself. And then with my pale blue, I'm going to bring that up a little bit into that white and down a little bit from up here. Extend it down past that blue. So I'm adding a tiny bit of a very pale layer of blue into what's going to be our foamy area. So we're going to kind of imagine the fall is dropping into water and it is starting to churn. That's how I'm doing mine anyway. Because although it's dropping into air, you'd still start to see that water kind of separate. It's got to go somewhere, and obviously without extending it right off the page, you need the image that it's kind of stopping where it is, or you need to continue it on really. So we've got the base down for what we're going to do. We're then going to retake our darkest blue, the 055, and now I'm happy with what I've got. We're going to just darken the edge a little. And the back. Just adding that illusion of there being a bit of depth and a bit of shadow back there. And the middle. You'll notice as I come into the middle, I'm reducing how much dark blue I'm putting, so I'm bringing it inwards, like an hourglass shape. So I have 2 hourglasses each side. Going back to that turquoise colour, that 040. Extending it out a little bit. And then I'm going to go straight to my light blue, the 038. I'm just going to pop that along the edges. Always just kind of using our light colour to just smooth what we've laid down and extend it down a little bit. Right, so I'm going to come in with essentially a cream. This is 090. Now this could be quite yellow, so we're going to do the sensible thing, and we're going to check just how much colour that has to it. So sorry guys, there we go. It's pale enough that it'll do for my purposes. I'm going to very lightly pop that just over that white edging. Same down here. So I've given kind of a creamy green colour to my highlight rather than a bright white. So from there, if you want to essentially darken that, if you do want to add some depth to that, let me see now, do I have a black in here? I always have everything everywhere. I don't, so we're going to have to, we'll go with a purple, but you can use a black, and it's probably safer to use a black, but I've got this 015, just a very, very dark purple, and I'm going to pop that just in the back there. Really add some shadow to that water. Bring it down the side just very lightly. You don't want it to be too purple. It's just added a little bit something deeper. You really do want your contrast if you can. Don't have to, but if you're being brave about it. So very lightly, so I'm not really adding much pigment, just mainly deepening up that colour. And you can then go back over it with your dark blue. Basically, when you don't have a dark enough colour, it doesn't matter, just make it darker. Use a black or a grey or a dark purple. Not always a dark purple, you need, it's because it's a blue. It's got to go with the colour, but it generally will. Right, that is the pencil layout for my falls. I've then got a few different options and bits and pieces that you can use to kind of make that look a little bit more, kind of a glittery edge basically. So you can straight up go for the, I mean you can put stickers on it, but it's a two-sided page and I never really recommend that because you're going to have texture and it's going to be a bugger to paint colour on the back of it. It just is. So there's always the sparkle pens you can get. So this one is a Spectrum Noir sparkle and crystal clear. I buy the clear one because then, to be honest, I've got all the colours I need. I only need a clear one because I can colour and then put it over and then it's whatever colour I want to be, and I save myself a load of hassle. So you don't want to be like really squeezing this pen, but you give it a little squeeze just to get it going. If you over squeeze, you're going to be covered in glitter and you're going to ruin your page. So I do tend to advise to get it going on a little bit of spare paper before you then, you know, once it's starting to go wet, you know it's flowing, then put it onto your page. So when you do this, what you will hopefully see is this very nice, there we go, that beautiful shimmer, and you can just pop that along the edge and your form is done if you prefer. There's your simpler option, done. Or you can add a little bit of let me use a cloth. Don't do what I do. Let me refocus because my camera's lost itself. Or you can add some white gel pen foam highlight, so you kind of going over those little dots and even some of the little lines. You have to be patient with gel pen sometimes. You've got to kind of keep cleaning the wax off the end, keep dotting it until it's flowing properly, but it will do it eventually. So there's that option. What I like to do is I'll take some posca and I'm going to take a white and blue and black, and I'm going to go with some black first. So I have quite a small one here, the 1M, which is the 0.77mm. Test it on your paper, don't splodge your page, you'll be annoyed. I don't want to come all the way down with my black because I've kind of kept that pale. I'm just going to pop some little dots. Not really any rhyme or reason to it. And then I've got this blue. It's a bit bigger because that's the only size I've got. So we're going to be very, very careful with this and see if we can make it work. So I'm not really touching it to the page properly because it's too big. I am very, very much so just dabbing it a little tiny bit just to add. I just want a little bit of blue on the edge of there. So you need to give that a bit of time to just dry in a little bit because it's going to start to melt into each other otherwise because it's paint. But obviously for the sake of doing this with you guys, I'm going to keep going. I know, the things I do. And then with a white, I did the white last because I want it to be more white than colour. I've just kind of laid a base of black and blue. You could even add a little bit of purple, but again, I don't have a small size, so, you know, don't want it to really be massive, but a bit of purple. And then once that starts to dry, what I'll do, I'll be back with you soon. We'll let it dry a little bit and I will return. Okay, I'm back. We are somewhat dry enough for the sake of what we're doing. I used my time well, got some, got another waterfall on its way. So I'm now going to take my white and put quite a lot of white over the top of that. Not completely removing my colours underneath, but working quite a bit of white. Just going to bring it up a little bit so that we have this kind of foamy effect. And then when that is completely dry, and I mean completely dry, you could then also, if you're being a bit extra, pop your sparkle pen over the top. You don't need to, but it's not going to do any harm, and I might do. So yeah, loads of different ways to do them really. The main thing is obviously to get your shadow in the back and your darkness in the middle. You'd have a bit of light as the falls come over. The other thing a lot of people do is you can white the lines out. I quite like, in this particular instance, not doing that. I quite like the effect of just having the foam in the bottom instead, everything else quite dark. And you could even pop a little bit of your glitter just here, because it will make the water sparkle like it would when the light's reflecting on it. So I suppose I can do that for you. So I would put my little bit of sparkle here, where my light colour is, where my highlight is, so that, I don't know if I can actually get it to do it, but so that once that's dry, obviously it'll just be sparkle, it won't be, but it's just there so you can see it. And that, when dry, it will just have a little bit of glitter to it, looking a little bit like the light's reflecting on the water, and you get that glittery appearance. So I think I've waffled on long enough there. Hope this was useful. That is how I colour this particular waterfall, I suppose, because they're all different, but it's giving you some ideas, hopefully. If you don't like the idea of that kind of yellowy colour to your water, you just change that for a white, and it will be more of a blue, a true blue, than a green. You know, that's just preference. That comes down to what kind of colour you'd prefer it to be. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I will see you in the next video. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. All those things really help my channel out. If you have any questions or further requests for how I colour videos even, pop them in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.